Hello, and welcome to the DCS Initial Training Wing Ground School Eval Checkride. Today I will be doing a demo run on all of the procedures that you'll be evaluated on during your checkride. If you can perform these procedures as shown here, you will have no problem passing your eval. To begin, let's go over what will be covered on the checkride. Proper taxi procedures, proper takeoff procedures, rotating plus or minus 30 knots of recommended VR, flying a pattern maintaining pattern altitude plus minus 300 feet, performing a touch and go, flying to a waypoint, emergency calls, stall recoveries, and full stop landings. You will be using CTAF calls for the entire flight. Now let's look at the airfield chart and approach plate for Kobaleti, where we are currently located. Alright, we are looking at the airport chart for Kobaleti. This can be accessed in the kneeboard, which the default keybind is right shift K, right shift kilo. We are currently located on the southern apron. We are going to be taxiing to runway 25 via Sierra Alpha. We will take off from runway 25. Let's now look at the approach departure plate. We're going to do a left-hand pattern, which pattern altitude at Kobaleti is 1500. So we will fly the crosswind, downwind, base, and final, making sure to make all proper CTAF callouts. We will do a touch and go on runway 25, and then climb back to pattern altitude and depart to the north on a heading of 316. We will then set our TACAN to 31 X-ray, which is the TACAN for Sanaki Kolki. We will fly to Sanaki Kolki, perform a simulated emergency call and a stall recovery. We will then set our TACAN to 67 X-ray, which is the one here for Kobaleti. We will fly back south and intercept the DME arc at 7.7. So we will fly clockwise orbit here at 7.7 nautical miles until we hit the 043 radial. Now that's not what's going to show in your HSI page, so you're going to have to do some simple math here. If it's below 180, you add 180. If it's above 180, you subtract 180. That's going to be figuring out what the heading to the TACAN is. So we are below 180, we will add 180, and that will give us 223. So you'll be flying the clockwise orbit at 7.7 miles until you see on your HSI that the heading to the TACAN is 223. You will then turn right on a heading of 203. We will set up our course line for 244, and upon intersecting that course line, we will turn right again to line up with the runway 25, perform an overhead brake, do the downwind, base, final, and then do a full stop landing on runway 25. Alright, let's hop in the jet. Alright, we're back in the jet. There's a couple things I like to do on the ground, just makes it easier rather than doing it up in the air. First thing we're going to do is set our right MFD to HSI. We will set our course, which is for runway 25 is 244. We'll hit CRS 244, enter. See it shows up down there. We also have to set our TACAN, which is 67 X-ray. And then make sure we turn this on. And then we'll box TACAN, and there we go. I also like to set CDI here. Gives us a little needle that will move as we're operating around the TACAN. We'll set our HUD on our left MFD. This will sometimes get blotted out by the sun, so you can reference down here. I'll turn on our anti-skid, and then we're good to go. So we'll make the call out. Kobaleti traffic, Eagle 1 taxiing to runway 25 via Sierra Alpha. We'll look both ways and go ahead and start taxiing out. Now I'm going to go ahead and apologize ahead of time. My zoom sometimes gets stuck, so it will jump around a little bit. But definitely need that zoom to be able to see my HUD sometimes. Alright, so we're going to set data aircraft down here. We want to look at our ground speed. Don't want to go above 20 knots while taxiing. So we'll stay below that while trying to stay on the center line here. And we're just going to follow this all the way down to Alpha, and then hold short of runway 25. Sorry, my rudder pedals also stick a little bit. That's why I'm swerving left and right here. Haven't quite dialed them in. Alright, we're passing taxiway Bravo here on our left. We're going to continue down until we hit Alpha. Now, Kobality doesn't have any sign, taxiway marking or runway marking, but you can always reference your knee board and the airport chart to verify what taxiway is which. Alright, we're approaching Alpha. I'm going to start slowing down here and make the turn to the left. Now, Kobality also does not have hold short markings, so we're going to go ahead and just leave roughly an airplane's length. Go ahead and slow down right around here. Alright, we'll look to the left, look to the right, make sure no one's coming in for landing or taking off. And we'll make the call out. Kobality traffic, Eagle 1, taking runway 25 for a left-hand pattern. Kobality. Alright, I'll set this back to HSI, because we'll be referencing this for our pattern work. It makes it a little easier as far as the 90-degree legs. Gonna line up on the center line. Brake. Right, just gonna do a control sweep. Make sure the controls work. Alright, and go ahead and advance throttle. A little bit of a crosswind, try to stay on the center line. And we're going to rotate around 130 knots. Go. And wheel gears up. Gear up and flaps up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and climb to 1,500. Kobaleti traffic, Eagle 1, turn in left crosswind. Start level 1 out here. Kobaleti traffic, Eagle 1, turn in downwind. Runway 25. So I mean about kind of blotting out, so you can use this to reference. Alright, we're gonna watch. Alright, we're at the threshold. Kobaleti traffic, Eagle 1, turn in left base, runway 25. I'll go ahead and start slowing down here to prep for the touch and go. Gonna go ahead and lower landing gear and flaps. And Kobaleti traffic, Eagle 1, turn in final, runway 25. Try to line up the E bracket, or the velocity vector in the E bracket. Continue to line up with the runway. Shot a little bit here. We'll come back to the left. Start expending our speed brakes to slow down a little bit. Line up with the runway. Touchdown. Reduce thrust to idle. Roll for a little bit, and then we'll increase back to full thrust. And rotate. Gear up, flaps up. And we're gonna climb back to runway, or to 1,500. You're gonna significantly have to adjust your trim. Kobaleti traffic, Eagle 1, parted runway 25. departing to the north. Alright, we're going to level out 1500 and turn to, what was it, 316, I believe. Go here, and 316, yep. Climbing a little too much. Speed. And level out. Get back down to 1500. I'm sure we can maintain here. Alright, we're gonna wait until we are 7.3 nautical miles out, and then we'll go ahead and set our TACAN to 31 X-ray, which is Sanaki Koki. Go and start climbing up here. Can climb up to 2000. And 7.3. Alright, I'll go ahead and set this to 31 X-ray. And there we go. So I got to turn to a heading of 041. Go ahead and increase altitude. We'll climb up to 5,000. And there's the mark on the head-in tape. Go ahead and line up the little caret with that. Alright. Level out. Gonna continue climbing to 5,000. Try to trim here when able. Relieve that control pressure. Alright, 13 out. Increase our thrust. Get there a little faster. Alright, so upon reaching Sanaki Koki, we're just going to let the instructor know by saying Eagle 1 on station, or Eagle 1 overhead, Sanaki. You should see the runway right there. Alright, Eagle 1 overhead Sanaki. Alright, at this point your instructor is going to give you some sort of an emergency malfunction. You'll have to give the proper emergency call. So we'll say this is a fuel leak, or sorry, an oil leak. So we'll go pan, Eagle 1, overhead Sanaki, heading northeast, oil leak, requesting immediate land in Sanaki. Alright, we'll go ahead and climb up to Angels 10 now. We're going to do a stall recovery. And we're going to start pulling back on the throttle. Go ahead and start deploying our speed brakes here. Slow right down. Get rid of the speed brakes, and we're going to start pitching up to still like 20 on the pitch ladder. Really cause this aircraft to stall. Try to hold that pitch as long as you can. Your instructor will let you know when to recover. It's going to be a couple seconds after the stall, just to let the stall develop. Trying to hold it. And there it goes. And then your instructor will say recover, at which point go ahead and level out. Increase your thrust. And slowly start bringing it back. You don't want to immediately pull back on the stick because that might bring you back into a secondary stall. So we'll go ahead and level out here. Alright. And now we're going to set our TACAN to 67 X-ray and fly back to Kobaleti. Let's go ahead and turn south. That's going to be a heading of 205. There's the marking on the heading tape. Alright, let's go ahead and pull up the knee board. We'll just kind of review the entry here. So we're going to fly, intercept the DME arc of 7.7. Try to fly that arc as best we can. We will then, once we get on the radial 043, which remember that's the radial, so this is going to show the opposite. So we're going to add 180 to that, so 223. Once we see 223 down here at 7.7, we'll know we're at that mark. We're going to turn right, go ahead and fly 203 until we intercept the course line, 244. That's this guy right here. You'll see that needle come across. Once you intercept that, we'll then turn right and fly over the runway, pattern altitude, do an overhead brake to the left, fly downwind, base, final, and then do a full stop landing. increase speed here again. Get a little faster. Alright, as we approach the start slowing down here. Gonna make a call out roughly 10 nautical miles away, letting everyone know that we're entering the airspace. I'll go ahead and start descending here. Kobalady traffic, Eagle 1, entering from the northeast. I need to descend down to 2000, and then when we're on pattern, we'll be at 1500. Alright, we're at 9.6. Around like 8.5, we'll want to start turning to the left because it's going to take us a little while to complete that turn. We're almost going to turn, probably a good 100, 120 degrees. And it's going to start turning here. Gonna climb a little bit. I'm just setting a little too low. Get some altitude. So there's that 7.7. So yeah, we're gonna overshoot it a little bit here. We have to pick it back up. Seven 7.5. 0.6. Okay, can start turning in. All right, remember looking for that 2.223 at 7.7. A little too far now. Got to come back. 1.9. All right, and 223. So we're gonna go ahead and turn to a heading of 203 now. Descend to pattern altitude. All right. So now we're gonna wait till we intercept that course line. You're gonna see that needle start moving. Once it lines up with the top and bottom needles, that means we've intercepted the course line, and we'll turn to the right. Right, there you go. See it moving. And there we go, intercept. Go ahead and make a call out. Koblady traffic, Eagle 1, inbound runway 25 for left-hand brake. So we're just going to line up with the runway, fly over the runway at pattern altitude. Alright, and we'll do the brake. Koblady traffic, Eagle 1, turning downwind, runway 25. Alright, we're at the threshold. Koblady traffic, Eagle 1, turning base, runway 25. And lower our landing gear and flaps. Koblady traffic, Eagle 1, turning final, runway 25. And go ahead and throttle down. And apply full speed brakes, slow down. Go ahead and set this back to data aircraft so we can see our ground speed. center line a little bit. Slow down here. Make this turn off the taxiway to the left. And one final call. Kobuleti traffic, Eagle 1, clear the active. Alright, we'll go ahead and take Sierra to the ramp here. Go ahead and just turn here. And there we go. And that's all it is.